Hey, how you going? We're looking at some crazy maps again of Oz. Here we go. And look at this beauty right here. This is a relief map of Australia, land down under. That's what it says. These are always so satisfying. It even lets us zoom in. Look at this. We have Mount Zeal right in the middle here, just west of Alice Springs. No kidding. And look at that. Who said Australia was flat? I mean, I know it is kind of flat. And these are, maybe a little bit exaggerated. But, I mean, look, there is definitely some hills and mountains in Australia. And it's very interesting. I love how Adelaide is situated on the coast with, I think these are mountains or at least hills, flanking it to the east there. It looks really, really cool. Of course, same could be said, honestly, though, with Melbourne, Canberra, and Sydney, and Brisbane, and Gold Coast. I mean, look at that. They're all on the coast, except with Canberra, I suppose. But you got, if you want to drive inland, there you go. You got some recreation, some scenery. And then, of course, you can't forget about Tasmania. Tasmania is mountainous, not flat at all. That place is gorgeous. Even Western Australia, look at, pretty spectacular. These are really cool. Look at here. We have percentage of Australians with access to fluoridated water, 2005 versus 2012. And if we blow this up, wow. Green, obviously, is more. Red is the least. Queensland back in 05, 4%. And then look at the jump. Everyone else made a slight jump, especially Victoria down here. And then, of course, Queensland with a ginormous jump from 4 to 86%. Very interesting. Now, what's really weird is Tasmania was at 91%. And then in 2012, they were down to 83%. So they made a down trend there while everyone else went up. With the exception of Northern Territory, they stayed at 70 either way. Kind of random, but, kind of interesting too. Anyone care to elaborate on the 4 to 86% jump in 7 years? Rand McNally Map of Australia and New Zealand from 1889. Let's get a closer look at this. Wow. Look at New Zealand over here. We have a blown up section of Sydney. Dang, this is absolutely crazy. Let's zoom in a little bit. There's Melbourne. Okay. Now, remember, I am not a local, of course, never even been here, so I wouldn't know all these small towns and, of course, suburbs off the top of my head. But here in Victoria, for example, is there anything that stands out to you as kind of funny or wrong or changed a lot since then? I would imagine something has, because this was from, 130 years ago or so. We still have Adelaide on there. We have the mountains on there. What about Alice Springs? Do we have Alice Springs on here? I'm not seeing it unless I am blind. We have Mary Springs. Without spending a terrible amount of time on this, I can't see any major, oddities here, but it is just kind of interesting. Wait, bonus footage, hold up. I did make a terrible mistake because I didn't notice that it was marked as such. Notice, South Australia is humongous, and Northern Territory is just this little northern tip up here. South Australia is way up north. Kind of funny, right? As well as the interior of Western Australia, especially up here. It just says Tasman land. A lot of this is kind of unmarked. I feel like, granted, a lot of this is wild and stuff, and national parks and all these things, but I feel like a newer map would have more going on, so I feel like there's some big gaps over here. But yeah, this is funny. That South Australia is absolutely huge in 1889. This map shows the percentage of each state and territory that uses the word togs to refer to clothing worn in a pool or even to the beach. Look at Queensland. Very much, 81 to 100%. So up there in Queensland, y'all are using togs all the time. That just means swimsuit, right? If you're wearing that to the pool, I would say either swimming trunks, if I'm just wearing, the shorts made for a pool. I usually don't swim with the shirt, so I would be wearing swimmer trunks. Yeah, togs is definitely Aussie and very Queensland, supposedly. And then you have pockets down here in New South Wales that some say it more than others. South Australia, they don't say it at all. You guys are like, what the hell are togs? Just like me. Even down here in far southwest, Western Australia, they don't use it either. So what do you guys call them? You thought that other map was old? This map is old. This is an 1823 map of Australia. And we have like half of the country not even explored. It just says unexplored parts of New Holland. That's how crazy old this is. We have West Australia, which is just this little chunk right here. South Australia, very small as well. And then the whole East Coast, as well as pretty good, quarter of the landmass inland, is all New South Wales or East Australia. And apparently Tasmania was Van Diemen's land? I don't know. You ever wanted to see if the Mediterranean Sea can fit inside of Australia? You'd be right. Here we have a map of the world, and this is actually showing, believe it or not, it's kind of random, guys, prostitution, where it's legal and not legal. I only know about the U.S. Here it's not legal with the exception of various counties within the state of Nevada. Other than that, it's illegal here. Now, what's weird is in Australia, it says it's legal in the eastern states, and then central and western Australia, it's like somewhat legal, with the exception of brothels and pimps. I don't know about this, guys. This is just kind of random. I guess I've never looked this up, so I wouldn't have known this, but most of the world, it's illegal. South America, it seems mostly legal as well. It's just kind of random, kind of weird. I did not know that. If you guys want to expand upon that, if it is legal where you're from, especially if you're in Australia or New Zealand, without starting any fights or controversy, just kind of interesting, how that works. I didn't know that. It's very foreign to me because here it's not legal in the U.S. And look at this. We have the Global Innovation Index for 2022. I always take these maps with somewhat of a grain of salt. But this says scores are based on the following 7 categories: business sophistication, human capital and research institutions, infrastructure, market sophistication, knowledge of technology, outputs, and creative output. It says the top 10 countries: Switzerland, best in the world for innovation, U.S., number 2, Sweden, number 3, UK, number 4, Netherlands, number 5, South Korea, Singapore, Germany, Finland, and Denmark rounding out the top 10. So there you go. Pretty interesting. Here is a funny one. How much snow does it take to cancel school in European countries? Now, this is funny because it varies a lot, even depending on states. That's what I can speak of here in the U.S. because in Illinois, it has to snow a lot. I mean, like almost apocalypse conditions for them to cancel school, it seems like. Especially if you're in like a suburban or city environment. If you're out in the rural, like, country land in Illinois, then maybe they'll cancel it more. When we were down in New Mexico, it didn't really snow in Las Cruces, but it snowed upstate in New Mexico, barely, right? I mean, it's mostly all desert. And they only got like half an inch of snow, and like so many places were canceled. We thought it was hilarious because in Illinois, half an inch of snow is like a joke. They wouldn't even care. So this is what we got in Europe. I mean, over here, far east, of course, up north in Russia and neighboring places, it takes a lot. I mean, we're talking about 40 centimeters or 16 inches of snow, even up here in like Norway, Finland, way up north here. They're used to the snow, so it's going to take a lot for them to cancel it. But then, of course, I mean, I guess just like the U.S., as you go south, it's going to get a little more dicey. I mean, pretty far south, they can get away with 12 inches of snow and still have school. Although, look at this, Western Ireland, way southern England, we're looking at 4 inches. That's it. What do you think? Is this pretty accurate? Finally, here's a funny one. The most popular browsers in different countries. Here in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, we like Internet Explorer. Okay. I was guilty of that for a long time. I used Explorer for a long, long time. Over here in Europe, in Africa, honestly, a lot of Asia, it's kind of a mixed bag. You kind of got a little bit of everything. Although Opera, I've never heard of that one. I don't really remember that one. And then down in Australia, you guys used Internet Explorer as well, same with New Zealand. So just kind of a little bit of differences everywhere. Keep in mind, this is 2012. I think I should have said that at the beginning. Fast forward to 2022, and the map is totally greened out. It's Google Chrome. Everywhere you look, Google Chrome seriously took over. I mean, they got me too. That's what I'm using. And then look at this relief map of New Zealand. You have a good view of the North Island and, of course, the South Island, and you see it on the globe over here. And if we look at what this says, it says New Zealand is favored land. Its only drawback as far as the rest of the world is concerned is its remote position. Yeah, New Zealand is just truly remote. It is wild. I mean, yeah, it's somewhat close to Australia, but other than that, it is way out there. And I mean, it is wild how it's situated. It's really far from everywhere. It is the furthest inhabited land from all the centers of human life. Is that real? A terminus for sea and air travel. As in Australia, many New Zealand animals and plants are different from those found in other parts of the world. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why New Zealand and Australia is so unique. They literally are unique because lots of things can only be found there and nowhere else. It's very interesting. But yeah, New Zealand is a beautiful place, very unique, and anyone that has lived there or lives there, take care of it. Consider yourself lucky. It's a very unique place, and I think lots of people would love to see New Zealand at least once in their life. It's looks stellar. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I love doing map videos like this as well as other random subjects. I certainly hope you enjoyed. Please throw a like on there if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is one of the best communities you can be a part of. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, guys. Catch you later.